Hey, God bless. My name is Marcelo.
My name is Ray.
And we are the founders of Set Apart Expressions. And we help Christians by creating God-centered apparel and content so that they can feel bold, encouraged, and unashamed to share their faith.
Right. And we learned so much from the Love and Launch Challenge. We learned that it's important to have systems and strategies in place in order for us to get the results that we want.
Yes, and OL and Sway helped us to understand in order for us to get these results and take our business to the next level, we have to understand these fundamentals, and they blessed us with this information. So we encourage you all to take on this challenge as well.
Right. And we also learned that if one of us is called to entrepreneurship, the whole family
to
entrepreneurship.
So we encourage you all, take on the challenge, and God bless you.
What's up, everybody?
Hey, guys. How are you?
Excited to be here.
Happy Wednesday to you.
Happy Wednesday. You know what this is? This is day number 3 of the Love and Launch Challenge.
Yeah. So let us know in the comments how you all have been enjoying yourselves thus far this week. This is day 3. So we've only done day 1 and day 2, and it's going to be so good. I know I said like each day because it is each day and it just builds upon the next. I know one of the comments that I just saw over in the group was saying like one of the biggest takeaways was to focus in on
the revenue generating activities.
Yes, revenue generating activities. And that is a big one. So today is going to actually be building upon that, like building on top of how to focus more on the revenue generating activities. But do let us, okay, so there's going to be lots of interaction today. Like in order to get the most out of our time, you want to be quick with it and respond in the comments. And I know there's a little delay too, because we're going through a third party there, but that's okay. Still go ahead and respond, because you're going to be triggering your mind to stay focused and to really get the most out of what we'll be sharing. And then also, when it comes time for applying it, you know, you're going to be ready to ask really like high level questions to get high level response, because you only are going to get out of this time and this experience what you put into it. So we're ready though. So it's going to be amazing. So what we're going to do today with you all, do let us know though what some of the other takeaways or how you've been enjoying it rather this week. We have a post that goes up this way.
No. You're good. You're good.
Oh, he says, okay. We have a post that's going to be coming up each day, so you can respond in that. So we have it scheduled to go out at the end of this month. So we want to hear from you all in there, just so we can know what your takeaways are, where your mindset is, where you're thinking, and then we can really make sure we can even customize more of the content, but really the direction to really answer some additional questions that you may not even know that you had. So y'all ready? Let's go. Today is day 3, and here is what we're going to be going over in day 3. It is called, we like to call it launch lingo.
Yeah, so here's what you're going to learn. You're going to learn how to create a value statement that really clarifies why you are the go-to for your market. And we're going to explain all those pieces. You're also going to learn how to use Resultology, a term we've coined, Resultology, to refine your messaging so you can confidently connect with your market. Then you're also going to learn how to use the LHF rule so that you can accelerate results in alignment with your gifts.
So we have so much to share. Those are just like the highlights of what we're going over. Y'all know if you've been here any amount of time that we don't play. We're bringing you all of the goods. So okay, so today, as we dive in, we've broken it down as we normally do, like in 3 different sections for you, so it can be easier to get it, to understand, to follow, and then to apply. A few housekeeping, just a quick reminder again. You can invite your spouse into the room with you, into this group with you, or you can watch it together from the same device. That's totally fine too. But you want to make sure you get as much of the experience together as possible, because it is for married entrepreneurs. And so you're building together, whether you're an indiepreneur where you're building individual businesses, a spousalpreneur where one spouse is building the business while the other is operating a 9 to 5, or a couplepreneur where you're building the same business together, or a combination of those things. This is really specifically for married entrepreneurs. We shared a little bit yesterday about our journey on how we even got to this place, because we were looking for resources, something out there that would help us as a married couple in business. And most things, everything that we found actually was geared towards just either marriage, which is great, the marriage counseling and coaching, or towards business coaching. Yeah. So this is really a very sweet spot for us. And there really literally isn't any other resource like this globally that's going to speak to where you all are from the beginning, the launching place of it, and then helping you build out together with quality legacy systems and business systems to build together. So I want you all to really make sure you're taking full advantage of all of this. In addition, if you likely have other like-minded friends who are also married entrepreneurs or aspiring married entrepreneurs. We invite you to invite them in here. They can once they register, they can get access to the replays as like yourself, and then they'll also be able to join us live tomorrow and Friday as well too. So we have so much good stuff waiting for you all too. Also, make sure you're checking your emails. We'll be sending updates there as well. Check your spam if you do not see them, but we promise you they are there. They are there. Okay, now let us. Oh, awesome. Odette says, hubby and I have been taking part together and appreciate this challenge and resources. Thank you for saying
Excellent.
that. It really does mean a lot to us to hear how you all are growing, because that is our prayer, that you grow and you see some amazing breakthroughs in this 1 week, and then that this will just be a perpetual breakthrough as you continue to apply the principles that we're sharing with you throughout this week, that even afterwards that you continue on. And then we'll continue to ask you all questions to see where you are, and then even offer opportunities so we can serve you further as clients. Right now, all of this right here, we want you to get some amazing results from this content that we're sharing right now. Okay, so let's get with it, shall we? Today is all about
your money message and knowing your money message.
Launch and go.
Good.
I was just singing.
Oh, so thank you. So let me start off by sharing this. Very early on, when we were putting together Marriedpreneur Life in the way that we're doing it now, I need you to know that what you're seeing with Marriedpreneur Life now is not how it started. Okay.
No.
If you could see how it started, it was like duct taped, rubber band, and all kinds of things like shoestring together.
Remember that picture I showed them yesterday of the how we started off with our covenant calendar? It was taped together. That's how it started.
Yeah.
Scotch tape.
That in more ways than one explains how Marriedpreneur Life started. So what happened was that as we were starting out, it's amazing how when you initially start, you think you're clearer than you actually are. And it's not until you get in it that you realize how clear or unclear you actually are. So how clear you're not. And so while there is some sense of clarity, it's still relatively fuzzy as compared to how clear you will get. And so our experience and us having to sort of go through that trial and error is going to help expedite you guys, which is why we're so excited about this launch lingo. So very early on, as Sway just mentioned, when we were getting business coaching, right? Because we were trying to find that thing that was going to help us out as marriage entrepreneurs, and we couldn't find it. When we began out in business coaching, it was so interesting how different voices, different people who we were conversing with was really trying to sort of,
they didn't understand what we were doing.
Yeah.
That's what it came down to.
Yeah. And they were trying to really move us into a space that wasn't our own, that wasn't really our niche, that wasn't really our groove. And so what happened was, it was like, oh, what you're doing sounds like, and so you got to be very careful with the sounds like, because the sounds like will put you like a square peg into a round hole. So because it sounded like we were doing marriage counseling, we were being steered in the direction of marriage counseling. But can I tell you, as you can clearly see, Marriedpreneur Life is not that, right? So, and that's great. That's awesome. That's just not us in this space and what we do. So we were being sort of massaged in that direction. And I think, not to anybody's fault, but when people are trying to figure it out, we go with what seems to be the most familiar. And that's what happens when you don't understand your money message. And your money message is the messaging that is true, sincere, and authentic to you, that's actually going to yield an actual profit, that's actually going to bring in the revenue, because it's your money message. And that's why we call it that. But we were being steered in that direction. So this is, I say all that to say, we didn't know where we fit, and we didn't know who we were talking to. And so when you're not clear on these things, you start trying a bunch of different stuff. And I'll never forget, we were going in one direction, this seemingly marriage counseling direction, and we started getting.
We weren't trying to do marriage counseling though.
No, we weren't. We were getting these concerns,
inboxes,
and these inboxes, and even, got on a few sort of Zoom initiation sessions. And we realized early on, I'll never forget, there were times we would log off, we would be reading in the themes, we would be like, wait a minute, why is this not jiving?
Can I say this just so they can understand too? So the messages that were coming in, it was people who were needing marriage counseling. They were asking questions about, like, well, we're on the verge of divorce, or there's issues with, infidelity. They were like really bringing some heavy stuff to us. So I just want to really be clear about what they were coming to us with, and it wasn't what we knew we were called to do. I just wanted to clarify. So with that though, I would also say just a quick little lesson that sometimes, many times people on the outside, even experts in their expertise, because you're trailblazers, because marriedpreneurs are pioneers, because we're actually building something that has yet to be built yet. As OL just said, that people will tag on to you what is most familiar to them, and to be comfortable to understand it. But just because it's most familiar to them does not mean that that is what your assignment is, as a marriedpreneur couple. So we just want to encourage you all in that. But this is the thing too, as we're going into building into or clarifying your money message, that it is really important to be okay with being the first one and people not initially understanding you. But the thing is, when I say people, I mean maybe like the experts in their field and what they're, what they do. But the thing is, it's important to listen ultimately to your market, what they're saying to you, because that's how we knew our messaging was off. When people started hitting us up for all the marriage help and coaching, and we're like, we don't do that. So we started referring them to people like.
Let's use the word counseling more so.
Okay, counseling. Well, either way, we don't do marriage coaching either. But
I just didn't want coaching to sound like business. I wanted it to sound like something other.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So we started referring them to other, couples where that was their expertise. And so we want to say that. So as we're building, like from day one, we were diving into mindset and really getting clear, shifting your mindset to the place where, okay, this is what needs to be destroyed or demolished and demoed. And then I need to build up these other healthy beliefs over here and understanding, and then going and diving into what we talked about yesterday. And I'm building up with the covenant calendar and rich marriage, rich legacy, and then coming into today. So everything is literally a building block for you. Okay. Everything. So you can see the results daily as you apply yourselves. So with that being said, as we're talking about this money message piece, I know the comment earlier was made about not spending enough time on revenue generating activities. This ties directly into the money message as well, because people need to know what it is that you're offering to them in order for there to be an exchange, a monetary exchange. When there's a monetary exchange, then it makes it so much easier for you to say, okay, they hear what I'm saying and they want what I'm saying. And this is the exchange that we're making. That ties back into pricing and all that. So even with the revenue generating activities, that definitely ties into what we're talking about today. With that being said, we have a picture. Did you want to say before anything?
No, let's go right to the picture.
Okay, we have there's a saying that we hear a lot, and we don't want to hear it anymore, which is one of the reasons why we're bringing this up. When we ask couples, "Oh, who's your market? Who do you help?" And many times, more times than we'd like to hear, which is a lot. We don't want to hear it at all. More times than we like to hear, we hear things like, "Oh, everybody's our market. Everybody's our market." And we're like, well, they're like, well, whoever wants to buy is our market.
Yeah, and so and then they'll make statements like, well, since everybody's our market, you'll also hear statements like, we don't want to turn anybody away. We don't want to turn anyone away. And so the response is motivated by not wanting to isolate or not gain any customers. So people feel like if they have to sort of drill down and really think about, okay, who are we trying to help? Well, then we're leaving other people out there that we're not able to help. No, nothing could be further from the truth.
Absolutely.
And so that whole thing of we're trying to help everybody, we don't want to isolate, we don't want to not help anybody, we don't. And so what that does is that gets us as marriedpreneurs, when we think like that, to try and reach for everything and do everything.
We're not called to do that.
And we're not even capable.
Yeah. That's so good. That's so true.
We're not even capable to do it.
And so the saying is this: if you're marketing to everyone, you're marketing to no one. Like, that's because your messaging is so diluted. It is so watered down. And one of the things I know that the phrases that you've coined about your messaging is about being willing to alienate.
Yeah, if you're not willing to alienate, you're not going to resonate. You have to be willing to split a crowd in order to speak to your specific people.
Okay, so case in point, here's this beautiful crowd right here. Beautiful group of people. And they all look distinctly different, right? But here's the thing. They may not all have the need that you offer and that you provide a solution for through your business, whether it be a service or product or a combination, right? They may not be that. So when you are saying to a crowd of people, oh, you need this and you need this, and then it starts to turn and skew your messaging into a type of coercion. Did I say that right?
What are you trying to say?
Cohersion. Did I spell that right?
Coercion.
Coercion. Yeah. I'm like spelling it, but coercion, where you're telling people what you want to give them versus hearing what it is that they need. And if what they're saying that they need is not what your sweet spot is and what you know that you all are your assignment for your business, then it doesn't make sense to dilute your message to switch and turn to every which way. So then you end up tasting like, when it's diluted, like water. So there's no flavor to it. There's no flavor to what you're offering. So case in point, here's a picture here. If I am an optometrist who has, or a stylist, let's say I'm a stylist who styles frames, and I say I'm going eyeglass frames. And what I do is I style eyeglass frames for the stylish millennial or career woman who wants a look that sets her apart, something stylish. Well, if you look at this picture right here, not everyone has eyeglasses on, our frames on. But there are some on here who may wear contacts, but maybe wear glasses sometimes. So they may or may not be the ideal client. But there are definitely some women on here who have eyeglass frames on and who may want stylish. I can definitely see some color frames in here, which would tell me something more about their personality. But you can see that's not everybody here. And if I were to go around to everybody, someone who doesn't even need glasses, and say like this, here, you need to get my glasses or you need to get my frames, you're diluting your message when they say, oh, I don't need that. I need something else. I need a stylist for my clothes. Like, oh, I can style your clothes too. Like that, you're reaching. It dilutes it all. And so we want to make sure that as we're going into today's message, talking about the money message, that you're clear about who your who is. So if you can go ahead right now in the comment section, let us know who your market is. Who are the people? Who are the people that that you're called to serve through your business? Who are your people? Who are your people? Because your people are your people, and your people. Your people, it's not going to be everyone. The people who are not your people are going to keep walking by, and that is okay. They're not going to hear you, and that is okay. But you want to be so clear that your people, when you say, hey, if you're wearing glasses and you need some stylish frames and we have this for you, you want to stand out on in business and in your career and just in life, and you want something to speak to your personality, that we got you. This is, and then you're talking to women too, then that's something even more specific. So just be very clear. And this is going to be the first phase of understanding how to build upon your money message. So let us know in the comments right now. Just drop, who is your market for this particular challenge? For us, as an example, right? Our market is specifically not single people, but married couples, specifically married couples, right? So if they're someone who's single, this was not created for that person, right? Or if somebody says, oh, well, I have pets and I have a Labradoodle, and I want to learn about what type of treats to feed my dog. Well, this is not going to be the challenge for you, right? This is not it. So it's okay that that's what you want, but I have to be okay with knowing I'm not going to bend over here and bend over there and say, well, maybe I can do this. No. This is what we're called to do right now. And so that part, just being very basic, very simple, write that down in the comments so we all see, we all understand and hear, like, who are your people that you are called to have an impact on and with in your business. Okay, so we have engaged and married Christian couples who long to establish
a vitalized, enjoyable, long-lasting relationship.
Fabulous. Yes. Okay, good. So that's very clear too. So continue to let us know as we're going on. This is clear. So now let's go on to the next step too.
So now we're going to
take this out,
go deeper, and share with you guys what is called the 3 mass markets. The 3 mass markets. Now, this is like a funnel, so we're just getting more and more specific as we go. So as we pull up these 3 mass markets, I remember when we were, again, going back to my earlier story, getting these responses in the DMs and the inboxes of people who had marriage in crisis, marriage on the rocks, if you will, and that was not our space to really be able to support and help them. This was what we realized. We weren't really clear on what was our mass market. So let's pull this graphic up and we'll share with you guys what these 3 mass markets are.
And can I say something really quickly about the mass markets before bringing them up? So what he's going to share with you, you want to understand that these are the areas where most, like the whole population, people are most familiar with spending money on, investing money in, like they're most familiar. So if you know, okay, we can connect our messaging, or our messaging already automatically connects with one of these, and makes it easier for people to say, oh, I get that, because you're speaking to a very specific, and sometimes broad, though. More specific. When I say broad, because of the mass market problem that they're willing to automatically, they're already paying for right now. They just don't know where you are. Okay, so I just wanted to say that before we brought it up. Okay.
So the 3 mass markets are health, wealth, and relationships. Health, wealth, and relationships. So when you think about who it is that you're helping, when you think about your market, are you helping them achieve success in the health area of their life, the wealth area of their life, the relationship area of their life?
Yeah.
Health would be, lose 20 pounds in 6 weeks. Wealth would be earn $20,000 in 4 weeks. you know, stuff like that. Relationships would be skyrocket your communication in marriage in 30 days or less. So it's speaking to either the health aspect of their life, the wealth aspect of their life, or the relationship aspect of their life. You think about your own life, right? You are buying things, consuming goods and or services that are speaking to at least primarily these three mass markets. So when you think about the market, you want to define that first, right? So ask yourself, based on what it is that who it is we're wanting to help and what it is that we do, does our product, does our service help them achieve success in the health space of their life? Does it help them achieve success in the relationship space of their life or the wealth space of their life? And let me say this, in case you're thinking that these are really isolated. They're not necessarily isolated. What they are is you focusing in on a facet of this person, this group that you're going to help. And so when you think about the market, you want to identify that and put that in there and say, all right, so actually type that in the comment section. Do you think you're approaching the health? You think you're approaching them or helping them achieve success in the wealth area of their life? Or are you helping them achieve success in the relationship area of their life? All right. Now, once you've identified this, once we've identified what is our market, that's more specific, but still too broad, right? So we're getting closer, just not quite there yet. The next thing that we want to do is identify what we call the sub market. Yep, got it. Relationship.
Got it.
Yeah. So the next is the sub market / people group. Now, inside of every market, there is a sub market that will speak to either the health or the wealth or the relationship, right? So if the market is relationship, then the sub market specifies the who that's in that market. Think of it like this. You're going to go fishing, and in a river that you're going to go fishing, they have bass, they have salmon, and they have whatever else, right? Trout. So you could say, I'm going to go fishing in this pool. But the question is, what are you fishing for? Because whatever you're fishing for, the nature of that fish is going to determine the kind of bait that you use. So when you think about your market, you're casting your line into that particular pool, the health pool, the wealth pool, or the relationship pool. But now you got to decide, you got to determine what fish are we looking for. Okay. And that's what this is what this is like. This is a quick example that came to my head. This is what this is like when you talk about sub-market or people group.
Yes. So what we want to do then is go to, so what you're talking about is the result that you're promising, right? That's the market that you're saying. You promise a result in this area. When it goes to the niche, then you can break it down based on whatever your expertise is, based on the market. Well, number one, your expertise and where you're going to bring results to, like in who those people are. So to break it down, we're going to show you a quick example. And this is also, you'll have an opportunity to walk through this too in today's download that you'll get today, the strategy sheet. And that's going to be emailed to you. If you've registered, then that's going to be emailed to you. So here's the thing. You want to bring this up real quick. We're going to show you an example of this actual, similar to this challenge, not necessarily this challenge, but very similar to this challenge. And I think that's going to be a very real life example. Okay, so in this particular challenge, it may be a slight delay, but it'll come up. Okay, in this particular challenge, let's say we are starting. Now, we could go from either of these. We can start from health, wealth, or relationships, but we're doing wealth. But if we were to do relationships, it would be, we're going to show you how to create a stronger marriage, even as entrepreneurs, right? If it was going to be health, we're going to show you how to have a lot of energy throughout the day so you all can do well, work well, optimally in your business, and then also have a great amount of energy for your marriage and your spouse and your date nights and your family time. But that wasn't our promise for this particular challenge either. So we're focusing on the wealth aspect, because our main guarantee is that you're going to have a clear strategy, to a business strategy for profitability by the time we finish on Friday. That is very much a wealth promise, a wealth outcome. So we can see the market is wealth. And then this is just an example, like who is a people group. It's emerging entrepreneurs who are now married entrepreneurs. So we could just say married or entrepreneurs, or what type of entrepreneurs, right? But they are married entrepreneurs. And then what type of marriedpreneurs? Because this is not just for everybody, every type of marriedpreneur. This is specifically for those who want to, if they haven't already, replace their 9-to-5 income. So they want a strategy to build in that way. Now, let's just say you have replaced your 9-to-5 income, but you may feel stuck, but you still want a profitable strategy in your business. Okay, so this is why this is important, just getting the understanding of the who and the how you're going to help. So quick story. Did you want to share anything? Did I miss anything? Okay. Quick story. We're going to slide on to use this right now and slide on to the next part of this training, which is going to dive directly into Resultology, which is the language of giving or sharing results through your business.
Yes. So we call this the 3 levels of messaging.
3 levels of messaging. And the level that we say that you should stay on would be the level of Resultology messaging. And we're going to break that down for you real quick. But first, let me tell you a quick story. When I was in college, in undergrad, my degree actually is in dance. So classically trained contemporary dancer. And I minored in business and religion. Now, my 3rd day of school of university, I had a kind of a freak accident, and I was sewing one of my ballet shoes, and I was in my dorm room. The bed was pretty high up, and then underneath that we had our desk. And so I'm sewing my ballet shoe on my bed before I run off to ballet class. I jump off the bed to get my bag to go to ballet class. When I jump off my bed, I realize that something feels weird. Like my ankle feels weird. I thought maybe I landed weird. It just didn't feel right. And so I even checked the bottom of my foot. I'm like, maybe I landed wrong. It's something. But I didn't see anything. So I grabbed my bag. And then as I was reaching down to grab my bag, I see sticking out of the carpet half, not the whole thing, but half of a needle. The needle, I said, that looks very familiar. That looks like the same needle that I just used to sew my ballet shoe, my laces on, my straps on. And lo and behold, it was. And so I look at the bottom of my foot. I'm like, why is it only half? If there's only half there, where is the other half? I look at the bottom of my foot again. I don't see anything. It just looks blank, right? Then I look closer, right on the ball of my foot, where I was feeling a little bit of that pain. I see a little dot right there. That dot, I said, oh my goodness, could that actually be a needle like all the way inside my foot? I'd never experienced anything like that before. So I said, I don't know. So I walk over to the ballet class. I didn't want to be late for class. I wanted to be a good student to show up on time. And I told them I'm going to take my ballet class is broken up into, the bar and then going floor work and then going across the floor. So I said, I'm going to do the bar work, which is I can stand at the bar and do my exercises, ballet work there. And then I think I need to go to the nurse because I think there may be a needle in my foot. I told my instructor, and she said, a needle in your foot? No. You're not going to take the bar. You're going to go straight away right there. I was like, okay. And so I was like, I don't want to skip class. So she said, no, go straight there. So they do the x-rays. Lo and behold, the needle is in my foot. Okay. So during that first year of school, and first semester rather, I was literally watching class. I had to have emergency surgery. My foot, the bone, it went all the way in. The bone was starting to get infected. They were threatening to amputate my foot. It's a whole big old deal. But thanks be to God that he saved my foot. I didn't have to get my foot amputated. But the thought of that made me realize, okay, what do I need to be doing? Because as a dancer, I don't want to be relying solely on my physical body to earn money to eat. So what else could I be doing? And I want to be able in life to take a rest, to take vacations without having to be thinking, oh my goodness, I'm not dancing, so I'm not earning money. So I've asked God, I said, show me what my gifts are. Show me what I can do. Even in that whole semester, I'm just going to class and I had to journal while everybody else was dancing. It was not the best feeling. But I did that right after I got off of crutches. And I got my foot better for the most part. It was all better. I got an opportunity. One of the ladies on who worked at the university knew I was a dance major. And it just so happened how God just planned it out that she came to me, thought of me right after I got off my crutches. So I was able to actually move around. And she asked me to teach. If I could teach some classes in the local schools there, in the elementary schools. I was like, okay, now I had never taught class before, but I knew I needed to pay for my tuition. I knew I needed some additional income. I was answering phones in the religion department, and I was paying minimum wage, student worker. And what they were offering to pay me was like 4 or 5 times the amount that I was getting there per hour. And I was like, yeah, sign me up. But I could only do a certain amount of classes. Okay. So, because I was a full-time student. And so I never taught before, but I had a feeling that I could do that. And so I said, well, I think I can do that. Sure. And I did. And they came back and they said, oh, wow, it went great. And I was like, okay, awesome. They said, can you do more classes? I said, oh, no, I couldn't because because I had to be a student. I was a full-time student, but I didn't want to tell them, no, I couldn't do it because I knew that I needed to make money because otherwise I was not going to be able to pay for my schooling. And so I asked them, I said, well, is it the teacher that you want or is it me that you want? They were like, if you just have somebody. And I said, well, can I bring somebody in? And then, yes. So I brought in a subcontractor, one of my friends. And I told her when I get paid, I will pay you a portion of my check. And then, so she was getting paid and I was getting paid. And then we did that for years and years. And so then I brought on other people and other friends, and this turned into something that I didn't even know what to call it. This brings me to the point that we're talking about right now. When people started asking me, what do I do? And I was a full-time student as a dancer, and I was teaching dance still, but that's not really all I was doing. You know what I'm saying? And so what happened was there were times, I remember this one particular time, a gentleman, an older gentleman. I mean, he was older, but he's probably like my age now. So he's probably at that time old enough to be my dad. And I felt intimidated. Because he asked me, what do I do? And I started trying to explain to him, oh, well, I hire dancers and they go and teach. And he was like, oh, what do you mean? Like, he was so confused. And then what that made me feel like is that I didn't offer value, but I didn't know how to articulate what it was, the value that I was bringing to the marketplace. I say all that to say that very simple question of what do you do is critical on how you answer that. Okay. So what I found out a little later after that, well, I'll say this. So when people after that started asking me, what do I do? I immediately watered it down. I immediately said, oh, I teach dance, right? Or, oh, I dance. And instead of explaining what it was that I did, because I didn't know how to say that. So I took some time to think through that. And I said, wait a minute, like, it's a staffing firm, but it's not staffing like corporate staffing. I've never seen this before, but I'm doing it. And it was paying my way through school. It actually paid my way through college, brought in multiple 6 figures very quickly. The clients that I started working with were actually school districts. And so then I started hiring over at this today about 100 people on our payroll from the beginning, so I say all this to say we were doing really well, even from the beginning, but I didn't know how to articulate it. But what the pivot that happened is when I realized this is a staffing company, but it's not just a regular staffing. I had to create language around it and tell people what it was and the name of what it was. So I said it's a creative arts staffing company, because then it started with dance, and then they wanted visual artists to come in. They wanted musicians to come in. So I started hiring all these different students. I started hiring all the students on campus and other schools and bringing them in. And that when I was able to answer with precision of what I did, that's when all these opportunities happen. So then, because people would be asking still, what do you do? And whenever I was able to say, oh, I run a creative arts staffing firm, saying that clearly and articulating the value that I brought, guess what started happening? If it wasn't them, they would say, many times it's happened, oh, so you go like into the school. So they were trying to figure out like, what does it work and how does it work? And I said, yeah, we go into the schools and da-da. And they would start referring our company to like family members. Oh, my sister, she's a principal. She would love to have your services. Oh, my cousin, you know, they're a teacher and I can connect you with them and they can connect you with their district. And it just started to build from there. But the big part of that had to do, well, it started when I got a lot clearer, and thank the Lord, just for that level of clarity, and I was able to attach that clarity to the opportunities. You see, so this is why it's so important to be able to understand how to respond in a language for your people. So when people say, what do you do? It's not necessarily what do you do, is how you want to answer. You really want to answer in who you help and how you help them so they can do what. Right. So let's tie this. Let me give you some examples. So there's 3 levels of this whole messaging piece. Okay. 3 levels of messaging. And the first one we like to call surface vague messaging. You hear a lot of this. You'll see a lot of this online even. And you know you're seeing it when you just keep scrolling, because when it's vague, you just keep scrolling. And your mind doesn't even pay attention to it. It's very few things that'll make you say, wait, what happened? What did they say? And then you'll stop. Pay attention to those things. Okay. Even if that's not for you, but pay attention to why you stopped your scroll. So vague messaging surface messaging is super vague. And so, for example, let's give the example of someone saying they're a life coach and someone says, what do you do? You can ask me. What do you do? I'm a life coach. That's vague. That's it. Okay, that's vague. It just kind of goes over. Oh, okay. Okay, cool. And then, hey, Tims. And okay, so the next one is not surface. The next one level deeper, is technobabble. Okay, technobabble. That's something totally different. Okay, so you ready? What do you do? Okay, wait, say it again for me. What do you do? I teach an algorithmic model of decision making in the prefrontal cortex of the brain and the hippocampus. Did y'all get that? Right? But they were still trying to say that they teach decision making. They teach they're a life coach. Okay. Or you can actually speak it in resultology, which would be like, what do you do? Thank you for asking. Well, I teach high achieving moms how to make smart pivotal decisions as new empty nesters, so she can enjoy this season of her life without guilt. So there's a difference. There is a difference. And so you want to be clear about who it is, and not so much about what you do, but who you're helping and how you're helping them. And if you can put the result, which is called resultology, into that, that's great. So we break this down into 2 areas. So you have the fruit of the statement, the root of the statement, which is the beginning, which is the beginning part normally, and then you have the root, the fruit of that statement. So you have the root and you have the fruit. So the root of this would be, I teach high achieving moms how to make smart pivotal decisions as new empty nesters. So we just told you who it is and how they're being helped. That's the root. That's what you're teaching. And then the result of that, the resultology of that, is so she can enjoy this new season of her life without guilt. Right? So it spells it out from the root of who it is and how you are serving this market or this type of person. And then the fruit of it is the result and what that person gets by working with you in that way. And so here's the thing. Sometimes it may not be the person that you're talking to that you're going to bring the results to, but it may be, as long as they understand and there's some level of curiosity, they can ask questions, and that turns into a conversation where it may not be them, but it may be someone else, like, you know what? Oh, that's good. A lot of times they'll say, oh, I need your services. Yeah, let me say it this way. You could either be clever and be confusing, or you could be clear and be intriguing. And so sometimes when we try to be clever, we end up confusing in our messaging. But when we're clear, it can be intriguing, and that's a good thing. And that's what you're talking about, where they ask questions. Tell me more. Explain further. Tell me more. Okay, so what we're going to do for about 60 seconds is we're going to give you an opportunity to think through even more detail what that result is that your people are asking. You can go ahead and put it in the comments, okay? And you can talk through it with each other. But really think about how can you speak to the results in the language your people are asking for results. Like, how are they saying these things? Okay, so go ahead. We're going to give you 60 seconds to dive right on in to this piece of it, of just having that wealth roll combo, talking together with your spouse, with each other, and writing it down. Come into the comments and let us know as well. Okay, we'll be right here. 60 seconds. Okay, guys.
All right. So as you were doing that exercise, let me just say this before we segue. The root of what you're doing, of your value statement, is the who you're helping with the how. That's really the root of it. Ultimately, the fruit of that is the so they can. So it's what you're doing that opens up and helps them to achieve so they can accomplish desired results. Now, as we're thinking about this value statement, everything that we've been putting together, everything that we've been building on today, the mass market, the resultology, meaning the three levels of messaging, specifying resultology, speaking the language of results, and then putting that into a statement that conveys value to the market, submarket, and niche whom you're speaking to. What happens is as we put these things together, one of the good things to do is to zoom out, right? And say, all right, now that I have some clarity here on my market and my messaging and the root, who I'm helping, and the fruit of how I'm helping them to do it so they can achieve what, then we need to push back from the desk, from the table, and look at where around us can we then now actually deliver on this clarity, actually bring this to the market. This is going to take us into our last segment today with what we call the LHF rule. And this LHF rule helps you to get closer to the opportunities that are right in front of you, and not trying to sidestep them, go over them, negate them, discount them,
Right.
but really take advantage of, if I can use a basketball term, with an easy layup. We're just going for the easy baskets right now. We just want to score the easy baskets right now. So the LHF rule stands for this: lowest hanging fruit. Lowest hanging fruit. Now, let's pull up this picture here, and we're going to share the screen and show you all something regarding this lowest hanging fruit. Now, you've heard the statement that a picture is worth 1,000 words. So I'm going to try to put this into 1,000 words. I'm just kidding. All right. So here we have this awesome young lady here who looks like she's at an apple orchard somewhere. It looks amazing. And I don't know if that's a Gala or a Fuji or what. Maybe it's a jazz apple. But in any case, you can tell by looking at the picture and ask yourself, does it look like she's at the bottom part of the tree, or does it look like she's at the top part of the tree? Well, if we're looking at the picture, it looks like she's at the bottom part of the tree. She's going after, you got it, the lowest hanging fruit. And so now we as Marypreneurs who have specified, gotten out, our market, our messaging, our value statement, we want to now go after the lowest hanging fruit. And the lowest hanging fruit are those opportunities that are closest to us, closest within reach. And we have the resources, we have the capacity, we have the opportunity, we have the accessibility to be able to bring that value to the market, starting with that lowest hanging fruit. Oftentimes what we like to do, if we're honest, because we just like to make things complicated, Marypreneurs do, we want to go beyond the lowest hanging fruit. We want to reach over those easy opportunities that are right there, make things more complex, and go way for the top of the tree. But let's think about this. If we go to the top of the tree and skip past this lowest hanging fruit before it's time, we're not as solid as we could be, as clear as we could be, as seasoned as we can be. What I'm saying is there's stuff that you learn at the lowest hanging fruit level that really makes you stronger and better as you go up the tree to the higher fruit at the top. So we want to do this in season and in perspective, all things in perspective, right? Yeah. So the benefit of doing this, the benefit of doing it this way, of going after the lowest hanging fruit, is that one of the things we get immediately is encouragement, because we get confidence. Because there's not a lot of barriers at this LHF level, right? And so we get our confidence up, and the confidence coupled with the experience brings us closer to that go-to that we're ultimately trying to become within our market.
Yeah, that's so good. And so you can, like you said, get the fruit of the reward of the fruit that's right in front of you. And many times we can skip over what's right in front of us and work ourselves ragged because we're not looking at what is right in front of us. And this has a lot to do with our ability and our earning potential and what we're earning right now in the marketplace, because the market pays you for your value, right? So the market,
and let me say this, for the value that they perceive. But there's value and there's perceived value.
Right. So the thing is, if you are trying to skip the process and shortcut the path that is laid before you, then what happens is you miss out on really fine-tuning your messaging. Because when you have the opportunities that are there at the top of the tree, but yet your messaging is still on pre-K level, then you're going to squander that opportunity. You're not going to have the discipline. You're not going to have the understanding. You're not going to have the systems. You're not going to have the support in place and the capacity needed to actually fulfill on that opportunity. And as they continue to come in. So all this week, what we're doing, this is really like we said before, it's like kindergarten. It's just building the awareness and putting some steps in place so you can see results. And when we talk about resultology and lowest hanging fruit, that's an actual language. Messaging is a language. Messaging is a language. And so as you're speaking to your market, it doesn't have to be a lot of people, but it has to be the right people. Okay. So it doesn't have to be a lot, but it does have to be the right ones. And as you start off with the right ones and that continues to grow, you, as you mentioned earlier, you gain in your confidence in that, and you gain your clarity and your understanding and even the conviction of saying, wait a minute, like how I shared this story earlier about when someone asked me what it was that I did. And I backed down because I didn't, even though I was doing it, I didn't have the confidence to actually explain it to them, because I felt like how they were looking at me like, what? That doesn't make any sense. And I thought, well, surely they're an adult. Like, they're old enough to be my parents, so surely they know better, but that's not the case, right? So you want to be, so when I got that level of conviction of saying, wait a minute, this is what I'm doing, this is what it's called, and that confidence that came with it, that's when other people could understand and say, wait a minute, I have something for you. You can help us over here. So if you're looking for to do more of the revenue generating activities, ultimately that means you are making an exchange in the marketplace for something that you have to offer. You're making an exchange. If you're exchanging your goods or your service, your products, you're making an exchange. And the more you are clear about how to make that exchange, the more that exchange happens. The more that you're able to speak to people about the results that you're bringing, that's the ones like the lowest hanging fruit that you're clear, like you're getting the clarity right now. Coming to this whole challenge this week is the lowest hanging fruit because you're getting the skill set and then going to use it immediately today or the next day based on what time it is in the world where you are. You're taking the steps for the lowest hanging fruit, and you're able to help to start having higher level conversations, clearer conversations, and then you're able to increase in your revenue generating activities by having the right kind of messaging that connects with your people, that resonates with your people, not all the people, just your people. And that's why we show that picture earlier today. It's not, we're not here for everybody. We're here for a specific body. Mm-hmm. You want to be clear about, we're not here for everybody. We're here for a specific body. So we want to make sure that you all are clear on the lowest hanging fruit. Now, as you get your downloads shortly, you're going to be able to go through them together. And there's going to be a section at the bottom where it's going to talk you through your wealth roles combo, even going deeper than what we did today. And based on if you are an indiepreneur or a spousalpreneur or a couplepreneur, and the level of like your rhythm and what that looks like in your marriage, that will determine how you all will do that together. But by all means, do it together, because you all are growing together. You're building the same legacy. Maybe different businesses. You may not be doing the business together like that. But as we said before, if one of you is called to entrepreneurship, the family is called to entrepreneurship. So we want to encourage you all in that way. Those are the 3 areas that we are going over today. Okay, so this is tying directly now into the marketing, messaging, the monetization part of it. And then tomorrow, so this is the messaging part, but tomorrow we're going to do the profitability systems. Okay, so we're building upon every single day. We're building upon the next day. So you'll have access, if you've registered, to the replays. You can go back, listen again, slow it down, run it back. You can even come in the group, ask questions. Once we get off of here in about 60 seconds, you'll be able to go ahead and let us know your takeaways for today. It'll have a new screen, a new post that says, let us know your takeaways for day 3. That is really important to us to see how you all are growing, how you're building. And then if any questions arise, go ahead and ask us there as well, too. We're happy to answer that as you all are building along the way. Our goal is for you to get some major laser clarity this week, to see results and breakthroughs as we're helping you build out a very simplified, profitable business strategy. Okay? Were you about to say something? Y'all good?
Till next time.
Okay, guys, this was been amazing for us. So we look forward to seeing you all tomorrow, same time, same place. Until next time.
That's what I was just saying.
Oh, I didn't. Oh, it sounded different.
Keep living purposefully,
powerfully,
and profitably in sync.
Okay,
all right. See you tomorrow.